And here is President Trump on this on Wednesday, yesterday. Watch.
I have a feeling that despite them saying no, I have a feeling that the king in Jordan and that the general president, but that the general in Egypt will open their hearts and will give us the kind of land that we need to get this done, and people can live in harmony and in peace.
So did you talk to Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, about this really important issue in all of this?
Well, we talked about a number of things, Martha. Number one being that the people of the United States stand with the people of Israel. And with President Trump in office now and his maximum pressure campaign, it's making a big difference.
Well, to look to where the immediate past of October 7th and the horrible terrorist attacks that Hamas perpetrated upon Israel that resulted in the most recent increase of conflict, and the fact that you have Hamas and Hezbollah in north of Israel in Lebanon that are sworn satellite terrorist groups and organizations of Iran, sworn for the destruction of Israel.
Here's what Vought had to say in 2023 about his intentions for these hardworking civil servants under a second Trump administration. And I'm now quoting Russell Vought. "We want the bureaucrats to be traumatically affected. When they wake up in the morning, we want them to not want to go to work because they're increasingly viewed as the villains. We want their funding to be shut down so that the EPA can't do all the rules against our energy industry because they have no bandwidth financially to do so. We want to put them in trauma."
And we, all of us, Democrats, Republicans, independents, the media, which is so damn casual about what is happening, we have to understand that when you're in the middle of the fight, you're not sure if this is a historic moment. When you read about it in the past, you can identify that historic moment. When you observe it in a faraway place with a hard-to-pronounce name, you can identify what's happening, creeping fascism. When it happens and you're in the middle of it, you're not so sure if it's your moment to display any sense of independence or courage.
For all the families that have been impacted by the recent fires in Los Angeles and all the brave firefighters from throughout the country that came to help, I'm voting no on Russell Vought.
For Sojourner House and other domestic violence shelters, I vote no on Vought.
As a former Grey Panther for Meals on Wheels, I vote no on Vought.
What I can tell you about this crisis is that the way that we address it is that we stop the flow of fentanyl coming into our communities, and we make sure that our family members and our friends who are struggling with addiction can get the help that they need. They are not criminals. They're our brothers and our sisters, our parents, our grandparents, our children. Do you know what it's like to have your child disappear to the streets, to addiction? We do not need to incarcerate these people. They need help.
Last week, the Trump administration froze virtually all federal funding, stealing billions of dollars in funding for critical opioid prevention, treatment, and recovery programs. Clinicians have been left wondering if they would receive a paycheck for their work, and patients have been left worrying about whether their access to treatment and recovery have been cut off indefinitely. Now, fortunately, several courts have already ruled in favor of parties seeking to put a stop to this unconstitutional power grab. But make no mistake, there are still real concerns about federal funding not getting out the door to help us combat the drug overdose epidemic.
Dr. Westlake, would you recommend legalization of drugs as a way to address the demand issue, the demand side of the opioid problem, similar to that in Oregon?
Obviously, of course not.
And do you, I noticed that you were on several groups that are trying to figure out what to do about the supply side. It appears that education is the answer. Is that correct? Is education the best thing we can do?
It's a key component to it, definitely.
And you're doing that in your state?
Correct. Prescriber education and then just a cultural education.
And let me tell you, we have been talking about bringing Elon Musk in for months and months and months now. I think my colleagues on the other side of the aisle like to act as if this is something novel, as if this is something that's unexpected. This is part of the Trump mandate, getting rid of wasteful spending. I think that my colleagues on the other side of the aisle seem not to be upset about our tax dollars going to idiotic projects, particularly within USAID, but the fact that all of this waste is finally being exposed, and Elon Musk is playing a key role in that.
Under our Constitution, there is no executive power that is independent of the president. The difference is that Elon Musk is carrying out the policies that the people elected this government to pursue, and the bureaucrats at USAID are not. And that's a big problem in a democracy. The Democrats tell us that it's undemocratic for the democratically elected president to question how the unelected bureaucracy is executing the laws that the president is elected to uphold.
The Trump administration froze trillions of dollars in government spending to enact massive and disruptive funding cuts. These cuts are being orchestrated in part by Russell Vought in partnership with the world's richest man, Elon Musk, the co-president. This unelected, unvetted bureaucrat who, by my best guess, appears to think that the livelihood of Georgians and Americans is some kind of startup he can tear apart.
Trump's OMB nominee, Russell Vought, said, quote, "We want the bureaucrats to be traumatically affected. When they wake up in the morning, we want them to not want to go to work because they are increasingly viewed as the villains. We want to put them in trauma." Well, Mr. Speaker, they're in trauma. Literally on my way to the floor to vote tonight, I received a text from a federal employee that said simply, "Help us."
Pillage programs like Head Start, like Meals on Wheels, like so many others, just so that the wealthiest Americans can get a bigger tax break. So today, I will end with this, a question to my colleagues across the aisle. Who are you more loyal to, your own constituents or a reckless president?
While not yet confirmed as OMB director, Mr. Vought's influence over the agency can be felt even now. President Trump's OMB, just days into a new administration, has wasted no time in usurping Congress's congressional authority over government spending by withholding funding previously approved by Congress on a bipartisan basis. This illegal action, initiated through OMB, demonstrates just how important and powerful the OMB director position is.